Today is June 23rd, 2026. Yesterday on the 22nd, there was a lady outside talking real loud and you could hear her. Now, these people are so dumb. You just want to swear. And then you can't swear enough. It makes you feel like you want to have Tourette's. Uncontrollable swearing. Because where do they find amusement in this? And what psychological problem do they have that they find entertainment in this? Where do you find entertainment in this? It's drug dealers doing this. Drug cartel. Mixed in with an occult. And people lapping it up like dogs and thinking it's funny. Harming people. Where do they think it's funny? And then what kind of psychiatric problem do you have that you need help? Because you're a danger to everyone around you. That you find enjoyment in this. I had a stupid woman. I found out they were all just getting even with her because she was faking she was dead before. Boy, did they get even with her. You're a fucking retard, right? A fucking morbid retard. They made a fool out of. And where do you think it's funny people getting even with people? Especially on a lie. On a lie. That a minister made up to cover up his son's adultery, thinking I dared follow him. And it was my sister following her husband. Is that horrible? Now, I want you to think about this. Where is it funny somebody gets harmed? What's wrong with you mentally? And then laughing about it like a jackass. You're a danger to society. Finding enjoyment in that. And then on top of it, that family that lost her kid in that traffic accident in 2003, that her father murdered her son, that I had nothing to do with. Driving at a high rate of speed, blew through a stop sign into a semi, killed them both. I wasn't even there. And where I had went through 610 surgeries, went to a bunch of crackpots because my muscles locked up, gave me wrong meds, my whole body was swollen, seizures, heart attacks, thyroid, adrenal gland shut down. They only gave me a few months to live. I have degenerative joint disease because my feet, when I was born, were pigeon-toed. And they slightly turn in. So when I walk, it's a little crooked. And because of the uneven wear, I have degenerative joint disease. The massive amount of swelling, my joints weren't there to hold my knees in place. And they slide out violently. I have an MRI showing swelling in the legs, fluid underneath the knees, torn muscles along the side of my knees. Couldn't even bend my leg at one time. The other leg had swelling, fluid, and a fluid-filled cyst for me. I want you to think about that. The orthopedic surgeon put me in braces, drained my knees, steroids, canes, braces. And a doctor told me it was a medication causing everything. And I got it with another doctor that agreed, put me on fentanyl. They only give fentanyl patches to the last stages of cancer. It only gave me a few months to live, so it didn't really matter. And over 9 months, all the side effects from the medication of the wrong meds, the heart attack, seizure stopped, thyroid, adrenal gland started working again. And as the massive swelling went down, I learned to walk on numb feet and crooked legs. That's real funny, isn't it? And a minister, 6 months after and it took me 9 months to learn to walk again. 6 months after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. He thought I was out following his son with his mistress. It was my sister following her husband cheating. He thought I'd dare follow him. He made up a baby lie and got rid of me. A baby lie. Made up by an occult leader. Okay? It's just a baby lie. Some of the doctors, and see, Strange made up the lie. Oh, she was faking she couldn't walk and faking she could. That's Strange's lie to cover up Tim and Katie. It was never faking. It's bad enough walking with degenerative joint disease, put swelling under the knees, swelling around the legs. They slide right out of place. And it took me 9 months to learn to walk again. What some of the doctors said it was nothing short of a miracle. It's like, oh, wow. Heart attack, seizure stopped, thyroid adrenaline started working, and the swelling went down. That I didn't die, and then I didn't require medication. Only needed my estrogen from where I had a hysterectomy. It was nothing short of a miracle that you're alive. It's by the grace of God. And that minister lying. And then think of that horrible family, that monstrous, horrible family that admitted to the FBI March 27th, 25. An agent was outside my work talking real loud that he got it out of that family. That why on earth would you say it offended you? They said it didn't even concern them. They were all lying to the FBI. When they went in that office, that they were just trying to help them get away with everything. Got it out of Dave. That a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory. And so his and that she could have free insurance to use. A woman running up medical bills, half my medical records, or another girlfriend. My whole marriage was a scam. I had chest pains for days. And he had got it out of another Michelle in that group. That the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctors. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent. And it didn't work. So she told him he broke up with her. Those people threatened to kill her. And Carl seen her have a meltdown April 17th, 25, in Sheets parking lot in Hartville. And she had talked to the police up there, and they said, how dumb were you telling that guy the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. And she actually don't know who he is. They lied he was one of my doctors, and she actually don't know who he is. And when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. As soon as I told that guy, he broke up with me. And that she really liked him and she wanted to marry him. And she's having this little girl meltdown, screaming in a parking lot. They said he's an agent and she's some kind of informant. And we could all end up in jail for this. These people threatened to kill her. She went badass. I've never met her. I've only seen her. She's really pretty. And her and her friends went badass telling all these people. I'm so proud of her. It's how you stop them. You have to have enough courage to tell the truth. That's what you have to do to lies. You tell the truth and you confront them. That way they don't get away with it. And when people realize they're being scammed and lied to, and they realize they're making fools out of them, then it stops. But you have to have enough courage to stand up to them, or they get away with the cause. As long as they can keep a victim quiet and not say anything, then they can get away with their scams. It takes courage to stand up to them. March 20th, 26. Walmart West Tusk. An investigator from 18 was in there and said, I haven't found one bit of this funny since an FBI agent showed up in my office that he had got it out of that family that was running around telling everybody that offended him, Strange calling her a faker, that it didn't even concern him, and they were all lying to the FBI to help them get away with this. So, idiot, yelling that. Who lied to you? Who made a public fool out of you? Chew on that one, honey. Made another fool out of you. Like being made a fool of by an occult? See, that's where yesterday I went through drugs and told to say it. I went through Melissa's mean games of pretend, how those kids were saying they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. And then later on to Flora, they made everything up. They were games of pretend. To the sheriffs admitting they know that they were tape saying that, or they knew they were lying. They found out some guy named Kirk. Maslin police, they're documenting me games of pretend. She never heard anyone. To Flora ratting them out. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. To, let's see, Officer John, one of those kids get tape stating they made everything up. FBI knows they made everything up. They're games of pretend. You go to jail for that shit if you try to get some money out of somebody for making things up. You go to jail for it. I told you, Sunday we were in Bob Evans and Alliance, and there's this older couple in that one that some guy named Will. You mean some rapist named Will? Some drug dealer named Will? Some human trafficker named Will? Some con man named Will? Is asking people to say stuff to her and make fun of her. Yeah, and dare mention those lying grandkids because they wanted the new girlfriend to get the house. So I started in on them getting, Melissa getting caught friends with Dave's girlfriend, her telling him to lie. She even got caught with working with two people that said they work for a drug lord. Oh my God. And we're willing to help a drug lord get away with this. Then on Thanksgiving of 18, they were taped saying they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. And later on to Flora, they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. Having an illegally bugged house in an FBI case. The investigators, because these people already sold the login. No, there's nothing to hide. Having a huddle in front of Walmart while they have those kids make that shit up. Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. Her whole family speaking highly of her. Officer Mark, Melissa could go to jail for this. Need to arrest her. Her kids are little. Why don't we just write it up that they were showing off for David and his girlfriend? Documented me games of pretend. Get it? And Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you're fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Call her stupid. Other investigators later on, Karen's family ought to be ashamed of themselves. She's risking her life to get them information. Help us get information on those people. And they're sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. They ought to be ashamed. To January 12th, 22, Officer John, one of those kids, get a tape stating they made everything up. October 5th, 21, they were talking about it in front of a client. We go to leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. I said next to all friends with ex-girlfriend had the kids make up some mean games of pretend on Thanksgiving 18. He said they're still talking about that girl lying and it's been years. They talked about a line in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Illinois. You guys still looking? Yeah. Like those people came in and sat behind me. None of this is funny. Even the sheriffs know those kids were lying. The FBI and all the police know that too. Hmm? And then a big part of society. January 1926, after Henry Moppy showed up and announced it's him. And he's so glad he never met me in person. And he's trying to pull a fast one on the FBI. Steal all the money for himself. I mean, the older couple, that lady was acting like she's taking pictures of me and Carl. Huh? She's making comments. He wants to know what she looks like. Someone who doesn't know what I look like. That's scary. Because these people have the login. So who the hell don't know what I look like? And why is she taking a picture for a serial killer and a human trafficker? Get the idea? Like those people that were sitting behind us. The sheriffs even know that they were lying. And all those people, they haven't stopped the harassment yet. Me too. Investigators even announced that they spoke to Melissa's kids, and the only reason they didn't like me is I told them to take 2 bites out of their food before they got up from the table. They would come in and they would want a full plate of food and packed as much as a guy would eat. And they're little. And then look at you and say, now you can throw it away. As soon as you set it on the table, wouldn't even try it. It's like you can take 2 bites out of it before you get up. My grandmother, for sassing her, I would have had my father or my mother's handprint across my face. My grandmother would have told me to sit my little butt down in that chair and you don't get up till you finish that whole plate. And if not, it'll be your breakfast cold tomorrow. You'll learn not to ask for what you don't want or what you don't need. They didn't take crap from kids back in my day. And they demanded respect. And those kids are nothing but spoiled brats. Dave and I talk about it on a tape of when I told them to take 2 bites out of their food. This is why we don't like you. They told them FBI them. The only reason they didn't like me. And the investigators were pissed. Those kids said the only reason they didn't like her, she told them to take 2 bites out of their food and they're willing to lie on her. They liked Andy Shaw better. A crackhead that admitted she sold children to pay off drug dealers. And this whole thing is her family's debt to drug dealers. September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. Bikers outside yelling. And said, the guys running it said no one's to say a word to her in her life. Again in her life. That they found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know. She don't even know you. You had her skull bashed in. Her raped and tortured because you were in debt to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk January 13th, 23. Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life for letting all those people be human trafficked. And it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. And it was your family human trafficking people to pay back those debts to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. She sold children for cattle. Somebody else's child for cattle. These people rape and torture children, murder them, use them for body parts. And there were sick cannibals out in California that were buying them to sacrifice to Satan and eat them. And she sold children to them to pay off a drug debt? That crackhead should have had to pay for her own drug debt. And since when does society help a crackhead pay back their drug debt? Besides giving them money to get out of town. After September 30th, 25, they were talking about a clear down in New Philly, Massillon, North Canton, how that girl admitted to human trafficking people. We put a nice name on evil crimes. And then that biker said, I found out it was your family inside of your new husband's family to threaten his life to steal his farm. Well, I really liked it and I wanted it. She wanted it for herself. Did you know the original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything in 23? Yeah, I know that. Did you know original cartel already confronted her ex-husband that if he knew it was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors made her sick before, and they encouraged them to sue those doctors for years? Yeah, I know that. Okay. Take January 1926. In the first of the case, okay, I had an Instagram account. I got an instant message. I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. Something about love on the beach and something else. I don't know him. I don't know him from Adam. Okay. And then I go out to stores. People are talking. It's supposed to be from a Henry Moffitt. And then people are showing up and saying that they're drug traders and human traffickers from Florida and they work for Judge Peters. And then a guy looks like him driving by. I don't even know him. January 1926, on the way up to Fairlawn, these people yelling stuff in stores and threatening me. What the hell's your problem? Making fun of a human trafficking victim that was almost murdered, trying to save her family. What the hell is your problem? Well, I told Carl, I said, these people need to realize they can never touch me. I'm an FBI informant. I'm in government immunity for life. And they can kiss the FBI's ass. They can kiss the judges, Starr County judge's ass that signed the protected custody case. They can kiss Agent John's ass. And they can kiss my government immunity, government informant, and government protected informant ass. Turn on MC Hammer, you can't touch us. I said they need to realize they can't touch me. They need to embrace it. Right, we're dancing around to MC Hammer at, you can't touch this. Well, I hadn't even heard those people talk about a Henry Moffitt anymore, okay? So I figured he was arrested or took off. There he's listening. And we go in Bob Evans in Fairlawn, and we sat down, and Carl had to go to the bathroom, and there's a guy who looks like him, but a lot thinner. With another guy, he said, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. I thought, you look like that picture. He said, I proved with those text messages she was cheating. That's not me cheating, that's you being a weirdo. I don't know you. He said, I tell all men she's not good enough for another man, and I'm glad I never met her in person. I'm thinking, fuck you, you went and got a pity date. He said, her dancing around the car like a little kid. The officers that watch her for the case only watch her because they feel sorry for her. I thought they liked me and there's a court order. And he said, I'm the one that incited her new husband's son to Or I'm the one that told her new husband's family that I'd steal everything for them. You can't steal from people, idiot. It's called extortion. He said that I'd steal everything for them. I found out her new husband's son was down on that farm vandalizing and stuff. I told him to stay out of everything. I steal everything for them. You can't steal from people. It's extortion. He said, I found out the other Michelle is telling on us for what we're actually doing. He confessed. Oh, my Lord. Yeah. Oh, the investigators were laughing the next day. He confessed. But they can't use it because she's on the other team. Oh, yeah, they can. And you just confessed, you idiot. Where the other Michelle that was dating an agent that broke up with her, that went badass on him. Every time her and her friends found out something, they told on them. That's how you stop these people. December 1st, 25, Walmart 62. They still have it. Michelle came in my office, told me that these people confessed this whole thing was a plan to extort money from the government. November 23rd, 25, they did up in Summer Mall. Okay. December 1st, 25, an investigator shows up. Michelle showed up in my office. Told me that these people confessed this whole thing was an extortion plan to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. And that the doctor from before was not one of hers. He works for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy, Pete, running his mouth about her, she doesn't even know who he is. Just some guy Dave hired on his own. And these people admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. She has no memory of those people. Thought the well water was giving me cancer, showering in it because it was orange and chunky. And we had to get a water treatment system. And here it just had rust and iron in it, different types. And I thought it was toxic. Bruises, throwing up, severely infected, almost passing out, migraine headaches. Okay. I'm going to the doctor for injuries I can't explain. And I'm blaming the well water. Here it's rapist. Stabbing me with hypnotic drugs, beating, raping me, drugging me up, and telling me to say stuff. Playing with me under drugs. Violating me in my own home, and I never seen her talk to anybody. It's that sick. And so they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And that tape of Weird With Yourself is nothing but photoshopped of washing in the shower. Done by rapists, photoshopping, something like that. In another room. Just Photoshop her washing herself in the shower. And the whole thing's a scam to extort money from the government. Okay? So where Henry Muffy said she's actually telling them what we're doing. She did. Thank you for your confession. And then he said in January 1926 that I got a judge's friend, going to enter everything in court without the FBI and without her. While they're busy with Minnesota. I have all the cases money signed over to me, and I'll be long gone and steal all the cases money for myself and pull a fast one on the FBI. Thought over my dead body, I wrote the president. You're not getting a fucking damn dime. Ugly as a horse's ass, and you ain't getting another fucking dime. I earned that money. It's for me and for me to help my children. You're not getting a damn dime. Dave threatened to kill everyone, and I thought over my dead body. You'll get caught going after me. You'll get caught if I have to go around taping my own witnesses. So they have extra evidence. And you'll get caught going after me, and you will not kill my children or grandchildren. People have showed up and said that Henry Maffei, where he admitted he never met me in person, that he was one of the ones that were drugging me up and telling me to say stuff. And that's how not funny it is. He even confessed he never met me. Must be one of the rapists. Hurting people in their homes, running scams on them. Okay. June 10th, 26th, I was in the same Bob Evans. 4 people come in and sit by the window there. I'm waiting for them to say something. They did. They said, these people having a people follower. What are you doing following me? What's wrong with you? There's something mentally wrong with you. Why are you following me? Why? You can go to jail for that. Now, they already admitted they were drugging her when they had talked to her. You can't drug somebody and talk to them, idiots. And she uploaded that it's considered pharmaceutical torture. You get 50 years. And then when we confronted them about it, they laughed. They drugged her and told her to say it before. And they thought if they drugged her and told her to say it before, they could enter their tapes in court without her, have everything turned over to them, and she wouldn't know who stole all her money. Is that not funny? These people are liars. Absolute liars. And then you got to think, their scam of an attorney has special permission to drug, beat, and rape people. Are you insane? What is a jail sentence for an attorney hired by a husband to stalk his wife in a private home without her knowledge or consent? 5 to 20 years. What is a jail sentence for an attorney hired by a husband to set up button cameras in a private home, stalking his wife without her knowledge or consent, taping in a bathroom, photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room, and have men drug her for fake confessions and beat and rape her under drugs? Life imprisonment. That's how fast they should have been arrested. May 28th, 26th, I go up to Bob Evans in Fair Lawn again. We're in there several times. I go to use the bathroom. There's ladies in there. Said it'd been really something if that agent would have just pretended to take that payoff. Would have pretended he was going along with this. And where he sold the government technology to the cartel that had put a reverse malware on it so they could track him. That'd be a great con to pull on him. But unfortunately, he's this dirty. And he's the guy running it. Been running it since the first day when he took the payoff when they walked in. See, to me, FBI, why didn't you catch him the first day? Taking a payoff in one of your federal offices. The way he talked to me 4 days later on the phone. Mitty had everybody in the office, knew they were trying to kill me. He didn't arrest him. Said he didn't even blame him trying to kill me because somebody called me a faker 15 years before to cover up his son's adultery. Thought I was following him. Had to get rid of me real quick. And people in there confessing they're trying to kill me. Those idiots went in and confessed. Went in there with their scam of, I still don't know who he is. I found out Dave hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in our home. And I don't even know him. And, see, that's where April 16, 23, Danny across the parking lot, I'd been asking him questions. They didn't know anything. Walked up to Gabe and Shay and said, I finally went to Dad, ask him what on earth is going on. And he said, he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in our home before. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape, the filthy, dirty statement. I've never met him. I don't even know who he is. Some rapist. Drug dealer. Running a drug scam on me. And where that agent said, well, we could always use Pete's tape or Weird With Yourself, the shower scene in the other room. I don't even know who he's talking about. Said something else about him. I've never met him. Only Pete I knew was my brother Medina. Hadn't seen him in for years and talked to him on the phone. Then when he said, well, I bet you're going to say you didn't know anything about this psychiatrist for sexual disorders or one of your brother. At that point, I wanted to yell at him, why don't you stop lying? I was desperate for help, and I caught my breath before I started screaming at him. And I thought, some other lady used my insurance. I wonder if it's hers. I told him, I said, I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about. He starts laughing at me, stops, you don't know. Well, it's a scam. Of course I didn't know. Huh? It's a scam. Made me beg for my life and listed me informant with money and immunity and threatened me. Can't be in a court order. It's actually illegal him threaten me. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent for telling an informant if they say anything they don't get their money? It's blackmail. Extortion out of government funds, a crime against the U.S. government because it's government funds meant for an informant. It is also obstruction to justice, tampering with witnesses. Under the color and the eyes of the law, no one can take another person's right away. You have a freedom of speech in the United States, and no one can take it away. The only time it can be withheld is in a grand jury or a sequester jury, and only while the proceedings are going on. What would be the jail sentence for a judge signing it? 10 to 20 years, and they'd be made to pay that informant back. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything? If they say anything that they want to have protection. It's attempted murder. Obstruction to justice, aiding and abetting crimes and tampering with witnesses, 20 to life. What is a jail sentence for a judge signing that? 10 to 20 years. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent telling anyone not to believe an FBI informant? 5 to 20 years, and then 20 for another for tampering with a witness. Obstruction. He can have anywhere from 5 to 40 years. He tells somebody not to believe me. Does the police and the FBI know that? Absolutely. Now, I want you to think where I called that hotline, that agent going up to Apostolic Church of Barberton telling him he knew I was being drug beat, and raped, and didn't care because some idiot called me a faker 15 years ago to cover up his son's adultery. Think about that. He told him he didn't care if they were drug beat and raping me because some idiot called me a faker. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent allowing a call to get even with somebody? 20 years. I mean, most of them are anywhere from 5 to 20 years and then 20 years for this or da-da-da. It's an ungodly amount of jail time. Any FBI agent allows a call to get even with somebody, it goes into 5 to 20 years or more. See, none of this can happen. Then I want you to think about on a recorded line. Somebody told me, you liar. That's badgering, it's obstruction and tampering with a witness. I dated several officers, okay? And then I was friends with another one. I was told that, somebody gives a statement, you have to take it if you believe it or not and follow through. Or it's obstruction of justice and tampering with a witness. It's badgering. And if they can prove you called them a liar, it's 20 years. Record a lie. So I want you to think about this, where I tell them somebody told on me. It was him. Calling me a liar. Tell them about the guy that threatened me to knife me at China Eagle. Call me a liar. Started screaming about a camera above the bench. I don't know. I tried to stay alive that day. Got in front of someone. Look for no damn camera. He said, you either say you're lying or I'll arrest you. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. Before I could say Terry Cobra releasing him. He said, oh, come on now. I met with that family in my office. He said, even if a church person seen him, they wouldn't verify him. I met with that family in my office, the ones that admitted to the FBI. They were lying about everything. Yeah. That lost her kid in that traffic accident, the one that her father murdered her kid and I wasn't there. And all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you, and he says, strangers lie of calling me a faker. I said, I really was sick before. He's like, you liar. He said, you say you're lying, I'll arrest you. I'll put you in jail. You either say it or I'll come up there and put you in jail. And it's like, fine, whatever. Now, why you say you're faking, you're sick. I just told you what was wrong with me. I said, I really was sick before, you liar. He said, I've met with that family in my office, the lying family, all the church people that were lying to him. And I know they're trying to kill you. Conspiracy to commit murder is 20 years. Why didn't you arrest him? They can't harm people. They can't kill people. That's crazy. He said, and I know they're trying to kill you. He said, strangers like calling me a faker. I said, I really was sick before. You need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. He actually says that on a recorded line. I said, I really was sick before. You say it or I'll leave you there. I said, they're going to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me. So, say it or I'll leave you there. You hear me? It's like, please don't let them kill me. Then say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine. Just don't let them kill me. Ah. Why would the FBI help a person like you while they're going to try to kill me? So. They've tried to kill me. So. Give me a real reason. And the other agent said, well, we could always use Pete's tape of Weird with Yourself. I don't even know who he is, and that's disgusting. Found out it's a shower scene in the other room. Done by a rapist Dave hired on his own, a drug dealer. Running a con on me. I said, I don't know who or what you're talking about. And he's laughing, stop, she don't know. He said, something else about him. Now, I don't even know who he's talking about. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. He's laughing. Stop. She don't know. I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this psychiatrist for sexual disorders or wanting your brother. That's disgusting. I told you at that point, I wanted to yell at him, why don't you stop lying? And then I thought, I wonder if it was one of the lady that used my insurance. And I said, I don't know who or what you're talking about. He's laughing. Stop. She don't know. Well, that's why they made a public fool out of you. June 7th, 23. FBI agent John Belford, the son of Daisy before. Oh, come on now. It was only a stop. Publicly mocked him. Walmart 62. I said, and he said, after he left, stop, she don't know. He said, give me a real reason. Well, my brother-in-law, Craig, died working under Dick Cheney. He was working at the Pentagon. He was traveling the world. He was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted, did war, weapons, spyware, and traveled the world undercover. He said, well, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement about threats on your life. I said, the only 2 officers I've ever spoke to, I call them silly or stupid. I said, in August of 2018, we only have 3 cameras on the outside, nothing on the inside. We have one to the front porch, back porch, and side yard. Nothing else, okay? We had a light in the security system at midnight. I called 911. They came out. They said it looks like an alien orb, angry spirit, and told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They didn't want bothered. You're kidding, right? I said, no. Matter of fact, I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I don't know what you're talking about. He said, is that what's going on? He said, do you know if Dave's cheating? And I said, I've never caught him. He starts laughing with the guy. She said she never caught him. Well, December 9th, 18, I taped Dave, but I never caught him with anyone. So why is that funny? Okay? All right. So, he said, I could take you somewhere and leave you with no money. I don't have money to start. Well, if you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I can open an informant case. I said, I can do that. He said, it comes with like $5,000 a month or whatever. He said, I'm loaning the money on the card. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again for working this case. You'll have that money to live on. He said, he said, okay, nothing legally stated, dated against you again for working this case. And you'll have that money to live on. Admit to no wrongdoing and I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone, I'll tell people you're crazy and the FBI won't help you. But if you need help, the chief of police of Canton is my best friend. He's a really good man. He'll always make sure the Canton police protect you. What's wrong with that statement? Like Walter that used to work at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, he said the only thing legal on that whole phone call he did was list you an informant with money and immunity. He said he cannot bully you into false statements under threats. The police know they can't go along with it. He cannot threaten you if you say something that you won't have help or won't have money. This is illegal, and they're federal crimes of blackmail, extortion, attempted murder, aiding and abetting crimes, obstruction of justice, tampering with witness. No, he can't say it. Police know they can't go along with it. He said, and the only thing, and you get the money for working the case, and only for working the case and risking your life to get the government information. Okay? And they owe you, Karen. And you'll stay in immunity for life for helping the government. That agent don't have enough authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. The police know that. Can't be in a court or no judge can sign it. They'd be signing their own arrest warrant. They would. See, that's where... Last year in June, in Louisville, outside my apartment, they were talking, we want that agent to show up here and explain himself. He said he didn't care what we did to her. And he arrested those drug dealers that showed up here to help. Wanted him to explain himself. And they kept saying stuff. Then they finally said where they've been threatened they were coming for the case, that they were coming. And they finally said that agent was defrauding her the whole time. Can't use fraud. The FBI can either stand up for the case they created and pay her, or we'll get their case thrown out because they were defrauding her the whole time. They had no legal right around her. And since she wasn't a paid informant, they have no legal right around her. And so all that surveillance needs thrown out. We will get every drug dealer released, and we're going to sue for tens of millions of dollars each. for a false arrest on a fraud. And there's something going on. They think they were June 10th, 26 down in Magnolia. Was around that time. Actually, I think it was before that. They're down there laughing. Girls came in and said the Kingsmen are dying laughing. The FBI would rather let their drug dealers walk than pay her what little money they owe her and stand up for the case they created. That they're going to sue them for tens of millions of dollars extorted money each. For false arrest on her fraud, they had no right around her. See, if they weren't paying me to surveillance me, and me helping out with the case, it's illegal monitoring. They go to jail for illegal monitoring. Under the eyes of the law, no one can take your rights away. You have a right to privacy in your home, in your car, your phone. And to have police follow me around. Otherwise, it's a felony invasion of privacy. See, then where they said it was a big legal loophole in 19 of him telling on me for calling the hotline. Admitting on a recorded line. Doesn't have the authority to ask me stay quiet. Can't be in a court order. He was defrauding her the whole time. See, that's where they gave him an ultimatum. And for some reason, they think they'll let those drug dealers walk. They said the Kingsmen are dying laughing. They're all about to get out of jail. And they're going to be millionaires. Because they won't pay her. Won't stand up for their own case. I talked to Walter from the prosecutor's office, where I used to work there. He said they absolutely can. The FBI has to move swiftly. They have to call down. In the first case in 18, I walked in Walmart 62 by the hair salon. A short white guy with black hair goes walking by doing the mean man dance. Well, walking by and saying crazy crap. I thought, who is that? Investigators standing on one side and drug dealers on, further down. And the investigator said, now that him and his drama's gone, we can actually get those people they hired to hurt her. Tell people to follow him. What is it? He can deal with his own drama himself. Other ones, like, we don't feed into religious heresy. What is his problem? September 10th, 25, I'm in Tuscarawas County Courthouse. In the prosecutor's office, there's a guy behind the door. I want her to have nothing when I get done with her. I want her to hate her husband. Out walks a short white man with black hair doing the mean stompy thing. I thought, I've seen that walk. Where have I seen that walk? It took me a long time to remember where I seen it. The one they call drama. It's him. Where Judge Lori was talking after the court hearing, I was trying to get a restraining order against my husband's second kids that admitted in court that they almost beat him to death before. They've took probably close to $100,000 from him. Left, they took enough to buy a house, and they didn't pay him back. Blew it. Judge wouldn't even give us a restraining order. And Carl's like, I'm scared for my life. I'm too old to fight him back. Off now. She wouldn't give it to us. We go to leave. She's outside the courtroom talking to someone. Some office was here saying that she's the biggest liar. There was no one around her. And everybody's get even with her. It's a federal crime for law enforcement to get even with you. I walked by another door. I had the right to do all those things. No, you didn't. Then before we leave, his second wife's daughter comes up and sexually assaults Carl. Gave him thrush. Came up. She's 6 foot, 300 pounds. Came up. Now he's only 5'3", 135. Short little guy. Came up to us and said, I'm like, Carl. And he's like, froze. And she's all over and she smells. She has no teeth, haircut like a guy. It was like watching a man molest my husband while he's frozen. I'm like, Carl. She sexually assaulted him in the courthouse. He was in the hospital within the next morning. His face started swelling. The next day it was worse. The third morning I had to have him in the emergency room. She gave him thrush. His mouth and throat and everything was full of that stuff. Just all over it, where she licked all over it, and it was gross. He started like crashing, devastated. He said that his second wife, when she's alive, if he told him no about anything, she'd have those kids beat on him, and then that Deb sexually assault him. Warned him to stay quiet. He said how horror he lived in, how he's afraid for his life for those people. Okay? In March of this year, I was down at the Bell store in Magnolia. Okay? And people were talking, said nobody thought it was funny, that agent showing up with an opposing attorney, bad-mouthing her. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent with an opposing attorney bad-mouthing an informant? It's 20 years of tampering with a witness. They wanted to find out what was going on. People showed up and said that agent took a payoff the first day. That's before he even talked to her. And he took it the first day. Okay? They've been sending out copies of the recorded line of him bullying her and laughing at her. He sounds like pure evil. He sounds like Satan himself. Put it that way. And nobody finds this funny. It's him. It's a short white guy with black hair they call Drama. He's trying to get the case thrown out for the cartel. Some cartel guys this year were bragging that they have an agent in their pocket. To me, FBI, he took a payoff in FBI office. Why don't you have cameras? Why didn't you catch him? Why didn't you find out he was this dirty before he got to me? I want to know. Why didn't you get him for the recorded line? And why didn't somebody else get me the hell out of here? See, that's where Sheriff Joe in Florida, I was talking to him about this. It's like, what's wrong with your local police? They should have arrested that agent the first day. The way he talked to you and telling on you. They should have got you out of there the first day. Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, I had dinner with him several times. He wanted to know if our police were slow. Why didn't they arrest that agent? And he said, and no one's allowed in your home. We know everything's digital. Anything can be photoshopped, from words out of sentences to other sentences. You put your head on somebody else's body, put a shower scene in the other room, and we all know you're sleepwalking with those kind of drugs. And it's the right to privacy over your home. And he said, why didn't they get you out? I'd like to know that. Around August 22nd, 2023, Kohl's parking lot, Officer Mark telling a lady real loud for the whole parking lot to hear. My car is bugged. Said none of this is funny. The FBI left her there while they got surveillance on those people. She had little to no protection. Someone started running around telling people that no one was allowed to help her. We don't even know who started that. Well, they got surveillance on those people and she was left up there with no protection. We went through all the surveillance. Everything Karen said happened did happen. And it was a cartel in her home before. We seen them. And I'd sign an affidavit to that. And it's documented and verified she was framed by them. It's also documented and verified another woman was using her insurance, and it was a medication error that made her sick before. The lady's like, none of this is funny. He said, I know it's not. Well, they got surveillance. See, where the investigators have told people Karen never lied once. She called and reported threats and attempts on her life. She didn't know about the rest of this. And her case is a threat and attempt to lie case that led into the drug cartel. Now, I want you to think they got Judge Peters out of Florida, human trafficker with 100 men. They got a lot of the Kingsmen from Texas, California, several out of Michigan cartels, Buffalo, New York, human traffickers. There's people from Georgia, Tennessee, North and South Carolina. Thousands went to jail. The U.S. Marshals showed up January 20th, 23. Maddie's friend on the police department got a hold of him and announced, and he said the police are using that case, that agent, open to get those drug traders, human trafficking people. And it's a loop, because like the investigator showed up, we should get a court order of surveillance these people. We don't need to. They're using her. They're using them to hurt her. We'll just use hers. Because they're using them to hurt her. And that surveillance gets thrown out. Thousands will walk. See, that's where you have a right to privacy in your home, your vehicle. You have a right to privacy. Even the FBI cannot be in your home except for threat and attempt to lie cases with statements. They have to agree to protect somebody in that home in a court order. And statements from everybody else knowing of the threat of life. And they have to have a court order. Or it's illegal monitoring and a felony invasion of privacy, and they go to jail. See, if my case gets deemed fraud because they defrauded me, then think of all that surveillance of all those drug dealers, serial killers, the people they found and rescued. Their kidnappers will be released. Because it sounds stupid, but because they didn't have a right around me, they wouldn't have found them, which they wouldn't have found their victims. So they had no right finding them. By using me, they would have found a different way. That's how the law works. You can't just be in somebody's home. You can't follow them around, surveillance in them. You can't bug their car, their phone. It's a felony invasion of privacy. Unless you're an FBI informant with a court order and they agree to protect you with money and immunity. 90% of the people in the witness protection program are criminals. Only, 5-10% are victims. And the criminals are bad drug dealers. And what they do, they wipe out their whole past. Give them money and immunity for life for getting information on somebody else. See, that's where Walter said, Karen, you don't even realize you're in one of the many witness protection programs. Informants are different. You feed them, you say yourself, you feed them information, you can tell whoever you want. They can't say a word. That agent don't have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It's illegal. It's a federal crime. And the police do know they can't go along with it. You get the money for risking your life to get the government information, and they owe you. And they owe you for the rest of your life. You'll be in immunity for the rest of your life for working this case. If you raise the chaos of the case, I have one traffic ticket from 1989. That's it. Where Dave used to tease me, Karen, you're such a Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. Never do anything wrong. I like being a Mary Poppins. Makes me a good person. I chose to be a good person when I was young. Now I want you to think about this. So then you think of this holdings bill from the Freemasons big scam, May 25th, 25. Had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine that? Had another guy videotape her washing in the shower and Photoshop that in the other room. Ran the biggest scam here of who could steal her money and scammed everyone into helping out. Now, you gotta think, it's just a big drug scam. Drugs and told to say stuff, photoshopping and washing by a rapist. And then where they thought they could get Melissa to help out her mean jokes. Nobody got hurt. They're just mean games of pretend. Documented by the police. Nobody was ever seen for an injury. Nobody was treated for one because they're mean jokes. Made up scenarios. Trying to get everything for Auntie Shell. That admitted she was selling people to pay off drug debts. It's a crackhead drug debt they're all doing this for. So, they're not actually after me. They're conning everybody. So they can get those drug dealers released and they can sue the government for tens of millions of dollars with extortion money. It'll cost the government billions. That's why they said the Kingsmen are dying laughing. Their drug dealers are getting ready to be released because the FBI will not stand up for their own case. And they won't pay her what little money they owe her. I've wrote the president. I have wrote the OPR in the Department of Justice. I have wrote FBI FBI Internal Affairs. I have wrote the White House. I have paid for copies of times, dates, witnesses, where they can get surveillance of people saying stuff. Where they can find the original case with police surveillance with a court order. Trying to stop those drug dealers from getting out. And thousands die. In 22, in Ohio, what was it? Over 1,000 people were human trafficked. There's hundreds missing from 1 year. Not counting the other years. Thousands are missing. Were killed and sold. You know, they found a mass grave. Again, 25 people. Bodies. What do you think they do with the people that disappear? What do you think they do to them? They rape them, they human traffic them, they torture them. Sell videos of it. They sell them for body parts. They even sell them to cannibals to eat. They're the worst demons in hell. And thousands like that will be released. If this isn't stopped. Walter said they have to move swiftly. The FBI has to move swiftly. They have to call down that courthouse. They have to tell them you're one of their informants. You never lied. And your case is a drug cartel case. You have surveillance of an agent obstructing justice and trying to tamper with a witness and trying to get one of our cases thrown out. I want it. Yeah, police surveillance of him doing it. We got him. And of course, we're going to pay Mrs. Harkless. We don't defraud anybody of money. And like Walter said, once they pay you, the deal is sealed. See, once they pay me, the scam is over. Don't go too far in case they try to, Don't want that. But seriously, the scam is over. You know, June 3rd, 23, I pull in Louisville. And my son, John, oh, he's so smart, it's ridiculous. He was a rep for the union, okay? And he had several offices, and he has contacts into a lot of the electrical companies. Okay, knows thousands. He also was a college professor, taught for the vocational college for the electricians. He was also a manager for several companies. Couple electrical companies pull in, get out of the car. The guys look at me and that John's mom. He said she's never hurt anybody. And because of these people, he may not ever see his own mom again. And he said that she never hurt anybody. And it's just because of these people. An FBI agent from 18 July 26, 25 shows up. Some couple got smart with me. Well, I went off, and then was still going off when I was talking to a waitress. Went over to Walmart 62, July 26, 25. He comes in 8 to 10 in the morning. I told that couple never say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad ever happened to him. All her other children were talking highly of her. Told him that in 18. This whole thing's nothing but a scam to extort money from the government. They thought if they ran where they said November 23rd, 25, this whole thing is a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was connected to us. We went to him and asked him if we could run it on her. And he said yes, if they made sure that he got everything during the divorce. They thought they could take their illegal stalking tapes, photoshopping and washing, fake sodium pentothal reports, hypnotic drugs, and told us say stuff. And one of their guys pretending to be a fake dirty doctor breaking HIPAA with serial killers, saying they're trying to kill somebody because they called him a faker. Psychos. And that they could walk into an FBI office, tell an agent they committed all these crimes, they got proof of it, and they're having somebody drug being raped. Keep them drugged up so bad they don't even know what's happening. They think it's the wild water killing them. And they would open up a case and hand them the money. Told you, strange hate of the government. The government's evil. They'll take your kids from you. They'll brainwash them. You'll have to hide your guns in the backyard. And he thought he could con the government out of money. Dixie knew Dave's girlfriend, Michelle. Pam and Anita were talking at Apostolic Church of Barberton. Said Mary's niece, Michelle, was willing to kill someone to date Dave. Dave was excited. He never had anybody willing to kill someone just to date him. That poor family that is in debt needs Dave's help. Katie, which cheats with strange son Tim. Okay. Mary is her mom. Anita is her aunt. That would make Michelle her cousin, and that Henry Mafia her dad. Get the idea. And there's a good chance that she was in debt to a drug dealer. She could even have been Strange's drug dealer herself. Or his supplier. That was his son's mistress's cousin. I'm going to close this.